India has got its 14th president. For the Republic, NDA nominee Nath Kovind will head to the Raisina hill to become the first citizen of this country, with 65.5% of all votes cast in his favour in what is a landslide victory for the NDA nominee. Kovind is riding the support of over 40 parties, with incidents of cross-voting in many expected as well as unexpected states, including Gujarat and Arunachal Pradesh. This is a special show where we are going to discuss, debate and analyse the road that lies ahead for him. His ascent, is this a new paradigm in Indian politics? What are the challenges that he will have to face? And what should we be expecting from our first citizen and the Supreme Commander of our armed forces? Thank you very much, viewers, for tuning in. And I've got a very special panel here. Syed Zafar Islam, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Sagrika Ghosh, Consulting Editor of the Times of India, Priyanka Chaturvedi, National Spokesperson of the Congress Party, and Ghanshyam Tiwari, National Spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. So thanks each one of you for being with us. I like this panel, actually. Let me say that to begin with. Very often we don't have a equal representation from the men and the women. I like the fact that my panel today has 2 women and 2 men. So we're starting on a good note there. Nath Kovind at Raisina Hill, it's a good day for you, Mr. Zafar Islam. This does go down as a big victory because you finally have someone who's been a career politician with the Bharatiya Janata Party, has treated RSS as its ideologue, and will finally be in the president's chair.
It is indeed a big day for Bharatiya Janata Party, RSS, the family, because we have a candidate who has won the presidential election, and it's unprecedented that the opposition party who wanted to show a united face was completely finally came up as a divided horse, because all of them supported, most of them rather, supported the candidature of the NDA because he brings a lot of expertise to the table. His expertise, experience, his credentials, credibility, everything was very sound, and he did get support from, that's why he did get support from the opposition parties. Congress actually should have accepted his candidature when it was announced, because the NDA government had actually, or the BJP had formed a 3-member team to engage the opposition parties to discuss about the potential candidate. That's when we had shared without sharing the name, but at least we had given the profile that we intend to bring somebody or name somebody with this profile. And that time probably the opposition should have accepted his candidature, but despite knowing the fact that they will lose the election, they wanted to put up their own candidate, and eventually they lost. But what is more important for all of us to realize, that Congress wanted to make it the fight of ideology. Actually, it backfired on them, because most of the opposition party where Sonia Gandhi was trying to show a united face actually didn't happen, and eventually they became a divided horse, and we emerged as a not only as a party which has given a winning candidate, but also our ideology was accepted by the people of this country and most of the member of parliament,
Zafar,
as well as the
you
MLAs.
made your opening comments. Right. Zafar, you've made your opening comments. I'm going to get Priyanka Chaturvedi to quickly react to that, to the point that you're making. And Priyanka Chaturvedi, you know, while you did want to have this battle of ideology, and which is why Meera Kumar was brought in, she was perhaps as erudite, if not more, than Mr. Nath Kovind. But my simple point is, in this fight of ideology, in hindsight, I'm asking you 2 questions. In hindsight, do you believe this was a futile battle to begin with, because you did not have the numbers to begin with? And do you believe if the BJP had disclosed the name of the candidate, you perhaps could have supported Mr. Kovind? I'm just asking you. I know the 3-member panel kept meeting you with the profile, but the name was never really given. So I'm asking you 2 questions. In hindsight, was it foolish, if I may, to have a candidate in the first place when you knew you didn't have the numbers? And there was so much of cross-voting that happened.
So, okay, so what I'd like to begin with is to firstly congratulate the President-elect Nath Kovind ji on his victory. And at the same time, I was hoping that the Bharatiya Janata Party would be gracious in its victory. Unfortunately, the spokesperson doesn't believe that and continues talking about the Congress Party. But anyway, that is his point of view, his perspective, and the Bharatiya Janata Party stance. But what we must not forget, considering it was the single largest party, was confident of a victory, was extremely confident about getting 70% of the votes, What's happened is that while Mr. Kovind will be the president of the country, he's got lesser vote share than perhaps even Pranab Mukherjee ji, who was a previous president and during our tenure, Mr. Venkatraman ji, and many such presidents in the past. So the boast of this being an emphatic victory is quite lost. Secondly, why we look at it as our moral victory is simply because we knew we were lesser in numbers, we knew that we were fighting for something that we believed in, we knew that we were fighting against a candidate who comes from an ideology which did not even believe in the constitution of the country, did not even believe in the tricolor of this nation, was an outfit which was banned by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, who was the then Home Minister. So this is an ideology we have been fighting against, and we have been fighting for the idea of India we believe in, which believes in the plurality of the country, keeping the constitution above it all, ensuring that inclusiveness is inherent in every single citizen of this country, and respect for each and every citizen of this country. That is what we were fighting for, and that is what Meera ji kept talking about, that social justice is something that she believes in, equality for all is something she would fight for. And she's had various tenures in various capacity where she has been able to prove what she stands for. So having said that, we would say that considering as losing, we are on the losing side, but what we have managed to achieve is her candidature has managed to poll in more votes than any other candidate that the Bharatiya Janata Party put up when they were in the opposition. And for them to claim this as an emphatic win, I think is quite lost, because it hasn't even reached the 70% that they were claiming.
Okay, so it's 65.65% to be precise, but I'm not going to get this into the Congress versus the BJP. Let's get in one more voice from the political space and then take it across to Sagarika for her neutral view. Ghanshyam Tiwari, this whole idea of having Meera Kumar was to have a united opposition candidate, and yet we saw opposition parties break ranks. I mean, from your own parivar, if I may, you had Mulayam Singh Yadav and Shivpal vote for Mr. Kovind. You had the others vote for Meera Kumar. You know, this whole idea of a united opposition against BJP's candidate did really fall through, because you had Congress members in Gujarat voting for him, you had Congress members in Arunachal voting for him, and then you of course saw some NCP cross voting, some AAP cross voting. I'm just trying to understand from you, as a member of the opposition who was out there to support Meera Kumar, was it, you know, was it completely futile to have this idea of a united opposition, because none of you adhered to it? Ghanshyam Tiwari.
First and foremost, I would like to congratulate President-elect Ramnath Kovind ji. It's a great day for our country. A new president has been elected. Second, I would like to congratulate Ms. Meera Kumar ji. If you look at the statistics of the just presidential elections, this is the second highest that an opposition candidate has polled in the history of the country. So that breaks the argument that the BJP has been giving ever since the results got announced, that this is a historic victory for BJP. This is not. In fact, it is a historic day for opposition, that it could come together state after state, present a candidate who can match in credibility and ethos to the BJP candidate, and could represent the idea of India, the idea of our constitution, ethos of our constitution much better. So in that sense, it is absolutely not a futile exercise. Third, there's been much discussion about cross-voting. If you really look at the overall cross-voting, it is not much. Even in Uttar Pradesh, BJP would like to tout that, you know, there was within SP there was a lot of cross-voting, but if you actually look at the numbers, 1 or 2 MLAs voted here and there, and that is not significant enough. What is more significant is for presidential election, so many parties came together in a transparent manner. Even the JDU that broke rank on a personal equation, not really on an ideological equation. Second, on the vice presidential election, this opposition unity has only swelled. And there cannot be ideology which is independent of the issues that the country faces. Today, unfortunately, the country faces the issue of unity among community. It faces the issue of security, external and internal, and it faces the issue of unemployment, farmers' suicides, and continuous rural distress. So on these issues, not only that BJP does not have an answer, they cannot trumpet any other point of view beyond the fact that they have a very popular Prime Minister. So this election will go down in setting the agenda for 2019 much strongly.
All right, I get your point there, but I'm going to really steer the debate away from congratulations and away from, the Congress versus the BJP or the Samajwadi Party jumping in and take it across to Sagarika. And Sagarika, I do want your independent, neutral view on this. While the debate really began as far as this election was concerned on the political messaging that was happening, that this all boiled down to the caste equations. It was Dalit versus Dalit. He was chosen, his calling card was that he was from the Dalit community. The BJP did have a strategy in place there to choose a Dalit candidate. But in some sense, Nath Kovind's elections also symbolizes how the absolutely marginal population in India can be at the forefront of Indian politics. I mean, a Dalit who was not so well-to-do, risen up the ranks, can be the president of this country. It also tells you the making of our democracy.
Absolutely, Supriya, and I thought that the speech that the President-elect made on his declaration, on his win, was very heartfelt. It was very moving. It was a remarkable speech, actually, when he said that today it's raining in Delhi. And I remember a time when I was growing up as a young boy in a village in Kanpur, and it used to rain in my hut, and the water used to come through the roof. So I think to come from the kind of background that he has come, Mr. Nath Kovind, in the 70th year of Indian independence, has risen to become President of the Republic of India. I think that is something to celebrate. I also think it's a historic day for the RSS. Because, as you know, Supriya, the RSS is known for its controversial history. Ever since its founding in 1925, it has been a bit of a pariah in the national mainstream. It did not accept the tricolor. It was banned 3 times. Now the RSS, BJP, for the first time, is occupying the Rashtrapati Bhavan. And I think it's a very important day for the RSS BJP. So I think in some ways the ghost of Mr. B.R. Ambedkar must be having, in a sense, a kind of a mixed reaction. Because on the one hand, I think Ambedkar would be very proud that the community he came from, the community for which he strived all his life, that community has given 2 Dalit presidential candidates, not just Mr. Nath Kovind, Ms. Meera Kumar. It was 2 Dalit candidates who fought it out. I think that would be a source of pride for Mr. B.R. Ambedkar. But the Ambedkarite legacy, as you know, is determinedly in opposition to Hindu majoritarianism. The kind of social justice and inclusivity that Ambedkar spoke about involved a rejection, actually, of the Hindu caste system and the Hindu worldview. So in that sense, it's a mixed blessing, I think, for the Ambedkarite legacy, because on the one hand, there is a Dalit in Rashtrapati Bhavan, but he's a Hindutva Dalit, and Hindutva was certainly Ambedkar's lifelong opponent. But I think it is also a time for us to recognize, Supriya, just how badly the opposition was outsmarted by the BJP here. The BJP declared its candidate. It declared a Dalit candidate. The Congress waited 10 days to declare its candidate. It could not muster support. The TRS, the INLD, the Tamil parties, the YSR Reddy Congress, all of them voted for Nath Kovind. So that says a lot for the kind of political management that the BJP was able to pull off. And I think the BJP in this sense outsmarted the Congress completely in this election. I just want to say one more thing, that, having declared Gopal Krishna Gandhi as vice presidential candidate, why did the Congress not declare him as presidential candidate? Because in this country, it's still difficult to go against a Gandhi, a direct descendant of the Mahatma. So I think it would have been more sense, instead of playing wannabe competitive tokenism of Me Too having a Dalit candidate of Meera Kumar, if they had projected Gopal Krishna Gandhi as presidential candidate.
It became a Dalit versus a Dalit. Yes, I buy your point there. Right.
Yes.
I buy your point there, Sagarika. Just hold your thoughts there, because I'm going to come back to you. And the point that you raised, this is the first time that a person with allegiance to RSS, a person who believes in that ideology lifelong, really gets to occupy Rashtrapati Bhavan. And Priyanka Chaturvedi, I want to ask you, this paradigm shift that we are seeing in national politics, and it's not just the Rashtrapati Bhavan, this is also the first time that the Rashtrapati Bhavan occupant, the Vice President, the Lok Sabha Speaker, 3 very important constitutional positions will be occupied by people people who believe in the RSS ideology, who have been members of the RSS. In that sense, this is a political paradigm shift in Indian politics. Is the Congress party and your other allies in the opposition found wanting in let this happen?
No, considering that it has happened is something that is a reality. But moving forward, like, you know, I was listening to the entire discussion. Moving forward, we need to understand the opposition that believes in the idea of, you know, inclusiveness, in the keeping the constitution supreme, working for just about every part of every citizen of this country, not exclusively for some, is something that we believe in, and people that believe in a similar idea need to come together to fight this ideology that we are seeing in majority right now. So that was the intent when we started with bringing about the opposition unity, considering 17 parties got together and chose her as the candidate. And when we talk about cross-voting, let's not forget cross-voting happened from the Bharatiya Janata Party side too, whether it is in Rajasthan, whether it is in Arunachal Pradesh. So cross-voting has been reported from there. And also, if you look at the percentage of vote that she's managed to get in, is also an indicator that people, many elected representatives, did not believe in the idea that Mr. Kovind comes from or belongs to. So these are things that moving forward the opposition parties would need to come together, think about it, and come across as an not just as an alternate idea of India, but also signify the opposition unity.
Zafar Islam, I want to ask you the frank question. Here's Mr. Kovind. He's extremely erudite. I'm sure he deserves to be where he is. And I'm sure he will be bipartisan. I'm not casting any aspersions. I'm sure he'll be an excellent president. What I'm asking you really is that he's coming in at a time, and we need to look ahead. He's coming in at a time when India is going through very troubled times, so to say. You know, there is already attack against his own community of Dalits. India is a very divided society right now. Minorities are under fear. There is lynching that one keeps talking about. Indian parliament has been rocked with all of that. Minorities are living in some sense of fear. I mean, you know, what should we be then expecting from a man you have chosen to be president? Because in his opening remarks, the first statement that he made, he was very categorical. He said, I am here to preserve and protect the Constitution of India and maintain its sanctity. Is he going to be under pressure to keep proving his secular credentials? Zafar Islam.
See, Supriya, one thing I would like people to understand that we have been painted, the Bharatiya Janata Party and RSS have been painted as a communal party or a communal organization by the Congress. But actually, if you see the history and the way they have ruled in last 70 years, it is Congress which has divided the society on the caste, on the basis of caste, creed, religion, and they have ruled the country. Now the time has come where we actually intend to take everyone along. So it's not very difficult for us to, or not, and he doesn't have to pretend, because we believe in secularism. We believe that everyone has the right and everyone has to be taken along. And that's why our agenda, our philosophy, our motto, our slogan is always Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, and he is true believer in that. First of all, also very important in his speech, he has very clearly said that he will be upholding he will be the custodian of the Constitution, and he will uphold the dignity of the Constitution and his position. So where is the question of him being not being secular or being partisan? He will always be non-partisan and he will always be secular as his job requires. And even in normal day-to-day life, when he was the Bharatiya Janata Party member, he was always a secular man, because he only think that BJP is being painted by the so-called secular party as the communal party, but they believe in a divisive policy. We do not believe in divisive policy. We believe in nationalist approach, and that is something which is very, very important for us, something which the Congress and the opposition parties have always compromised with. That is the differentiating factor between us and the rest of the opposition party. Today, if you see Congress party, which used to be a principal opposition party, is no more. They are not able to lead the pack purely because nobody has the
No, I understand, and I give you, Zafar, I understand that, and I give you the credit that you are in the pole position of Indian politics today. Zafar, I get that point, but I want Sagarika to react to something that I've been thinking about for a very long time. Mr. Kovind has allegiance to the RSS. He's obviously also has allegiance to the BJP that has elected it and made it possible for him to be elected so handsomely. And yet he is in a very non-partisan role right now. How significant will his role really be going forward? We are entering into general elections 2 years from now, 2019. Presidents in the past have been criticized either for overreach or intrusion, or sometimes for looking the other way. What should Mr. Kovind be judged for? What do you think he will be expected to do in a situation like this?
Supriya, that remains the million-dollar question. You know, it has to be said in Mr. Ramnath Kovind's favor that when he was governor of Bihar, he was a copybook governor, and he did operate according to the constitution, and which is why I understand that there is a great deal of respect for him from Mr. Nitish Kumar, which is why Mr. Nitish Kumar broke ranks and actually did not go with the daughter of Bihar, Meera Kumar, and actually went for the governor of Bihar, Mr. Ramnath Kovind. So he is known to be a copybook governor, but the challenge is coming from the RSS. He's an RSS member, he's a BJP member. Remember, he does not have independent stature. He's not an APJ Abdul Kalam. He, lost 2 Lok Sabha elections. Pratibha Patil won 6 MLA elections. She was an MP, she was a minister. Mr. Ramnath Kovind has been politically completely untested. He does not have independent stature. Given that, he is completely beholden to Mr. Narendra Modi and Mr. Amit Shah for his post. Is he going to be a rubber stamp president? Is he going to be a president, for example, who stands up for, say, Dalits who are attacked in Una, for, say, Dalits who may suffer as a result of cattle slaughter rules? There are sections of the Sangh Parivar who are pushing for a review of the constitution. If the BJP Sangh comes back with a huge majority in 2019 and push for review of certain constitutional principles, as some sections are demanding, will Mr. Ramnath Kovind be able to stand firm? There are many challenges. As you said, there are elections, there are going to be decisions that Mr. Ramnath Kovind may be forced to take a stand on. Mr. Pranab Mukherjee, as we saw, did often make his sentiments heard. So the question really is Mr. Ramnath Kovind, who is a dyed-in-the-wool RSS BJP member, who's a political appointee, he's like how Indira Gandhi appointed Zail Singh or Fakhruddin Ali Ahmed or Mr. V.V. Giri. He said this is the ghost of Indira Gandhi, in a way, looms over the presidential race, because she was the first who actually appointed these faceless presidents. But so is Mr. Ramnath Kovind going to go the Fakhruddin Ali Ahmed way and sign off on everything the government does? Or is he going to be the guardian of the constitution? That remains to be seen.
I want to take this to Ghanshyam Tiwari, because Mr. Tiwari, I think the question that some people may be wondering today is that we're only debating president, but the BJP will also have its own man as the vice president, and it also has a Lok Sabha speaker who was still not very recently a BJP member as well. I'm not casting any aspersions on whether it's Mr. Sumitra Mahajan or Venkaiah Naidu or even the very honorable president-elect Mr. Ramnath Kovind, but is that a concern that's lurking in the minds of opposition members, that people from the ideological RSS background who owe their allegiance to RSS are occupying places of significance, places of importance, and especially going into general elections, especially going in a country where divisive politics, where minorities are at the receiving end?
Well, it is obviously a natural concern, but politics without connection with issues on the ground that common man face today, it would not sustain. So when opposition talks about ideology, the ideology has to be linked with progress on the ground. No country in the world has progress without peace, and today the peace on the ground among communities is in question. Second, with BJP politically very, very powerful, the big question remains that, yes, they also have a very popular Prime Minister. Why have they not delivered on the ground, on the key agenda that they themselves set out in 2014? In fact, if you look at the agenda that India faces today, it is over and above what it faced in 2014. So not only have they not solved the problems that we as a country face, but they have added new problems to us as a nation. So that is where where there's an opportunity for opposition to craft a new narrative, and because BJP doesn't have an internal voice of conscience that counters their overall propaganda, that is where the challenge that the incumbent president is going to face. Would he be able to walk out of a very powerful shadow of Narendra Modi ji and Amit Shah? Would he be able to strike as an independent conscience keeper and thought leader? That question still remains. If you just look at the overall governors that BJP has given so far, one, they have transgressed. Right. Two, they have not stood up against the central government, be it in the case of Arunachal or other places. So BJP obviously is not doing a great service by presenting faces that have not been able to create a thought leadership of their own. So, but the entire game is now in front of the opposition. Can it craft a narrative and present a leadership that the country needs?
And I think that has a lot of soul-searching to do within the opposition. Priyanka Chaturvedi and Ghanshyam Tiwari, you represent the opposition on our show, and I'm presuming finding a new narrative and finding that voice of conscience even within the opposition is something the opposition needs to do. As far as Mr. Kovind is concerned, his task is cut out. He is going to be the 14th President of India. He is going to be the first citizen, and he belongs to every Indian, and that is exactly what he will be judged upon. I have no doubts in my mind that he will be a bipartisan, a non-partisan president. But remember, presidents in the past have taken a stance against the parties that have voted him or her in office, and we hope that Nath Kovind is going to be no different. But on that note, completely out of time here, Priyanka Chaturvedi, Zafar Islam, Ghanshyam Tiwari and Sagarika Ghosh, thank you very much for joining us, as always, on a special show. Nath Kovind will be India's 14th president.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/etnow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at etnowlive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/etnow.